was born in 1890 in a mountainous village in Ania, Kari, Kostonori, in the west of the prefecture with a healthy climate, with beautiful forests, rich waters, gorges, and caves. This village has a peculiarity that we do not often encounter. It is divided into 11 neighborhoods, which have also been named after the families who first settled there. So St. Nikiphoros was born in the neighborhood of Kostiniadis. His parents were simple and pious villagers who died when he was still a young child, leaving him an orphan. So at the age of 13 he left his home. His grandfather, who had undertaken to raise him, went to Kania to work there in a barber shop in order to learn the job. Then he showed the first signs of Hansen's disease, i.e. leprosy. The lepers were isolated on the island of Spinalonga because leprosy was a contagious disease and it was treated with fear and dismay. Nicholas was 16 years old when signs of the disease began to become more conspicuous, so he left on a boat to Egypt in order to avoid being confined to Spinalonga. He remained in Alexandria, working in a barber shop again, but the signs of the disease became more and more apparent, especially on his hands and face. That is why, through the intervention of a cleric, he went to Chios, where there was a church for lepers at that time, and the priest was Father Anthimos Paianos. Later, St. Anthimos, we celebrate on February 15th. Nicholas arrived in Chios in 1914 at the age of 24. In the leper hospital of Chios was a complex with many homesteads. There was a chapel of St. Lazarus, where the wonder-working icon of Panagia Ipakui was kept. In this space, the course of virtue opened for Nicholas. Within 2 years, St. Anthimos considered him ready for the angelic schema and tonsured him with the name Nikiphoros. The disease progressed and evolved in the absence of suitable drugs, causing many large lesions. The drug was found in 1907. St. Nikiphoros lived with unquestioning, genuine obedience to his spiritual father, with austere fasting, working in the gardens. Also recorded the miracles of St. Anthimos he had witnessed with his own eyes. Many of these were related to the deliverance of those possessed by demons. There was a special spiritual relationship between St. Anthimos and the monk Nikiphoros, who always remained close to him. As Father Theoklitos Dinosiatis writes in his book St. Anthimos of Chios, Father Nikiphoros prayed at night for hours on end, making countless metanias. He did not quarrel with anyone or injure anyone's heart. He was the master chanter of the temple. Because of his illness, however, he slowly lost his sight, so he chanted the Trapadia and the epistles from memory. The Chios leprosarium was closed in 1957. Remaining patients, together with Father Nikiphoros, were sent to St. Barbara's Home for Lepers in Athens, in Gelo. At that time, Father Nikiphoros was about 67 years old. His members and his eyes were completely altered and distorted by the disease. There, Father Evmenios also lived there at the Home for Lepers. He also suffered from heat. But with the medication he received, he was completely cured. However, he decided to remain in the Home for Lepers for the rest of his life, near his fellow sufferers, caring for them with much love. Thus he submitted to Father Nikiphoros, to whom the Lord had given many gifts as a reward for his patience. A crowd of people gathered in the humble cell of the leper Nikiphoros, St. Barbara, in Aigelio, to obtain his prayers. Here are some testimonies of those who met him. While he was prostrate with wounds and pains, he did not complain. He showed great patience. He had that charisma of consoling those who were sad. His eyes were permanently irritated. He had limited sight. He also had stiffness in his hands and paralysis in his lower limbs. Nevertheless, he endured all of this in the sweetest, meek, smiling, delightful way. He was also pleasant and lovable. His face, which was eaten away by the marks of his illness and his wounds, shone. It was a joy for those who saw this destitute and seemingly feeble man, saying, "May his holy name be glorified." Father Nikiphoros reposed on January 4th, 1964, at the age of 74. After 3 years, his holy relics were exhumed and found to be fragrant. Father Evmenios and other believers reported many cases where miracles occurred by calling on St. Nikiphoros to intercede with God. The life of St. Nikiphoros was a brilliant example and a model for everyone. He was pleasing to God because he had endured so much. For this reason, we have many testimonies that our saint received from the Holy Spirit the gift of discernment, as and a host of many other charisma. This should note that most of the miracles were recorded, and today the saint gives generous help to anyone in need. Surely there will be many more miracles which have not been yet made manifest. All the angels were astonished by the struggles and the strict asceticism of the venerable Nikiphoros the leper. Like another Job, patiently enduring his pain, he glorified God. was crowned him now with glory, distinguishing him through miracles. Rejoice, instructor of monastics. Rejoice, beacon of light. Rejoice, for delightful fragrance pours forth from your relics. The valiant athlete of endurance and fortitude, the steadfast diamond of patience and long suffering, was tried by affliction and sickness. In this way he glorified the Most High God. Let us extol Nikiphoros the Leper, saying unto him, Rejoice, O namesake of victory. Niki means victory. Saint Nikiphoros was particularly prominent within America during the period of the pandemic. COVID-19 had a similar stigma that leprosy did, in which there was isolation and fear. So Saint Nikiphoros was interceded to by many, many churches, including Paraclesis services to saints during the pandemic. May he always watch over us.